Hey everyone, today we are in the Florida Keys and I just want to show you these really cool bridges. I hope it's not too windy, but you're going to see some exciting things in this video. Well, if you like lizards, I'm going to show you in just a moment. So it's very, very windy. Just take a look at how beautiful blue, green this water is. Look at that. So we're underneath right now a really, really big traffic bridge. Doesn't look as high when you're underneath it, amazingly, but up top you're above everything, so ships can go underneath here. So this right here is the abandoned overseas railroad. Let me get somewhere where I can talk a little better now that I've showed you the bridge. I know the wind is really, really strong here. Okay, it's a little better now. So that is the abandoned overseas railroad bridge. Originally started construction in 1912 and officially closed the railroad due to a massive hurricane in 1935. So there's a whole ton of bridges. The wind is a bit better here. Just left abandoned like this, and some of them have been repurposed as traffic bridges. Some of them, most of them are set up like this so fishermen can go across them. So you can go across them for scenic views, but most of them have one thing in common. See this? I can walk all the way to the middle. I can, from the other end, walk to the middle, but right in the middle is completely cut out so ships can go through. The bridges were too short, and there's no more railroads out here now on the Florida Keys. Oh, speaking of fishermen, we got some fishermen here right now. So down here is really interesting, and take a look at this. See these stains on the concrete? That's actually all pee. And if you look in here, I've seen some rats scurrying. I see a cup and other things in there, so I'm imagining this used to be open. Maybe homeless was sleeping in there or something, but entire area here under the bridge smells really bad of pee. So as soon as I stopped right here because I wanted to walk across the old railroad bridge, the part that's open. Then when I noticed down here, I was like, hey, this would be a good place to stealth camp in the middle of the night. But, oh my gosh, the smell of pee is so bad, so that's definitely not gonna happen. And there's rats everywhere. That's why it smells, you see? Ooh, that fly was on a piece of rat poop. Yeah, that's all rat poops, all those little pellets you're seeing there. So today, driving around on the Florida Keys, there's some pretty impressive trestles too that they have repurposed. There's one gigantic trestle we drove by today. I don't understand why they didn't make a pedestrian bridge where the tracks used to be. Instead, they like have a big ramp going up onto the roof of it, and that's where they built it. Maybe just they wanted it higher up for scenic views. But that bridge is so unsafe now. It's abandoned. They removed the end section so nobody can get onto it. And I guess they're just gonna let it crumble into the ocean now at this point. Florida has a lot of invasive species, and one of them is iguanas. Look at all of the iguanas here. Look at that. They're very skittish. My dad had an iguana that was over 6 feet long, and it was pretty friendly actually. In the summertime, he had a giant cage the size of a few refrigerators in the backyard. He would spend the summers outside. Well, that one's very, very green. You notice some of them are bobbing their heads at each other. So there's actually dozens of them in the rocks right here. I've seen some that are quite large driving around in Florida. A bunch of them on the sides of the road, dead. A bunch of them walking around in the sidewalks too. But the iguanas seem to be everywhere. Yeah, you can see them bobbing their heads, a whole bunch of them. And you look down here, they camouflage pretty well too. You zoom in, look, there's iguanas everywhere. You're gonna spot some that I don't even see. I wonder if they can purposely make themselves darker to blend in, because look at that, blending right into the rocks. That one's almost black. But then there's this bright green one right here that maybe was sitting somewhere green, but it's already fading itself somehow. Pretty cool. Look at it. Look at that. Look at the old ancient coral everywhere. So yeah, there's iguanas down in all these cracks, and they just hid from me. You see? I can't even see them now. They just went down inside all the holes. Let's see if we can spot some more. It's a lot easier if I just stay still and look around carefully for them. That's what I'm looking for. I think I've scared them all away. Oh my gosh, that one is big. It's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one. Not nearly as big as some I've seen on the side of the road. That was a big, big one. Oh, I see another one there. Oh, another one hiding from me. Slowly scanning all the rocks. Yeah, I've scared them all down into the depths now. Oh, that one is very, very pretty. Look at that. Wow. The color on that one is nice. Bunch of them scurrying around. Something just hid under this rock. I don't know what it was. Something just hid under this rock right there. Okay, are we gonna see any more? I am gonna walk back right here because this is where I was seeing the most of them. Before I came under this bridge, I have never seen so many in one spot. Oh, there's another little lizard. Okay, I have appeared to scare them all away, so now we're gonna go back under the bridge, which reeks really bad. It smells really bad under this bridge. There's even a rug, so yeah, somebody was sleeping here at some point. But look at all the pee. I'm sure some of that's human pee. There's no bathroom facility here, so people gotta go somewhere, and obviously hiding under the bridge is the best choice where it doesn't rain, so. But I did see a lot of rats. It smells really bad in that graded area that we can't go. So I'm sure it's mostly them. So let's take a little short walk. A good amount of these bridges are also under construction, but it's amazing to see. Like, I drove by a place called Pigeon Key, and the whole railroad bridge is abandoned, falling apart. Sections of it are crooked, about to fall into the sea. The railings are falling apart, and because it has railings, I'm assuming, was it a walkway at some point, or was that just for the railroad employees? Let's take a little look. Watch me lose another bright orange hat, if anyone remembers how I lost my first bright orange hat walking around. Yeah, you can tell by the vehicles how high that is there, so boats can get under, but I'm gonna walk all the way out to show you where the bridge ends. But that's so cool. There's so many abandoned railroad bridges, which are literal miles long, abandoned out here, just over the ocean. And you saw underneath this how beautiful this bridge is. It's a bunch of concrete arches. There's a bunch of pigeons up here too. All right, the wind is pretty strong out here. If you ever felt wind that's strong enough where you can barely catch your breath, that's what we're feeling right now. Look at that. So we're almost out to the point that they cut the bridge. Doesn't even appear to be at the highest point, but we're gonna go look at it. Maybe it's the deepest point. Maybe that's why they have it over here. You can't see the bottom. This must be pretty deep water. Look how they have it up. There's 4 pillars down bottom. Must be 4 spots they drilled deep into the bedrock. There's a lot of pigeons that like living up in these cracks. There's a lot of pigeons. There's also a good amount of bird droppings, and there's dead fish on the bridge everywhere that people catch, and they must be a type of undesirable fish, and I know certain fishermen will just leave them there for dead so they don't keep catching the same fish. But all the dead fish might be the reason for the pigeons. And oh, there's a seagull. They'll be maybe taking them away. Up on the bridge when I was driving over, I saw a group of vultures. I don't know where they went. There's a couple dead vultures up on the big bridge too. I guess the other vultures were maybe trying to eat them or something, I don't know. But here's the parts that they removed. See what I mean? It's kind of dirty and nasty, the bridge itself. Doesn't rain often. This is now Florida's dry season, so just like probably the time I visited California, I realized immediately, because it barely rains, the parking lots, everything gets disgusting because there's no rain to wash it away. Look at the corner there, how gross that is. I bet there's so many fishermen that probably pee in that corner, and that's probably why it smells over here so bad. But look right there. That's where ships go through. I got this thing to guide them across. Look at all the birds. There's lights on the ends of that so they can find it at night. And there's the other section of bridge that they're currently construction. That's closed, that part of the walking trail. It does not look like much at this angle, but it's just about as long as right where I'm standing. If I look back, look at that. Doesn't look like much of a distance, but I did just walk a ton. And if you were over there, it'd probably look about the same. It's just the angle. It's really just the angle you're seeing. All right, I'll show you me driving over the bridge in a moment. We're gonna go ahead and walk back now. It's kind of nice, especially if it was a hot day and I was fishing here. There's such a nice breeze. It's a bit strong, but it's nice. The temperature is nice today. The high temperature in the Florida Keys is 66 degrees. And look, the whole sun is blocked at the moment by the other bridge. So there's no blinding sun here until you get down there towards the end. That's when the blinding sun will start on up. Yeah. All right, everyone, I have made it back to the vehicle. And it's kind of interesting for Florida being at an hour and the car isn't even hot. The weather's been really nice down in Florida. Late November, early December. This is the time to go. The days are pretty nice compared to the summer. I only had 2 unbearable humid nights. One of them I was camping in the Everglades, 90% humidity, but there's barely any traffic for the Florida Keys. If anyone's ever been here during tourist season, you'll see that. Look at the roads, they're empty. Last time I came here, it was March, and The highways were jam-packed, just gridlock all the way through everything. So I chose to leave in the middle of the night when I could avoid that. Not this time. Even the hotels aren't even filled up. I got a hotel out here for $80 last night. That is so cheap for the Keys. Usually you're gonna pay hundreds. It's because it's off season and no one's there. There's only a couple other cars at the hotel, and that's why. It was a nice place. It didn't have wide open ocean, but it did have ocean access. It had a marina and stuff too. And also, something I don't mind, but for some reason it bothers a lot of people. The hotel looked like it was straight out of the 60s. It had 2 beds. The back of the bed was this bright blue leather, bright blue matching chairs. And you could tell when it was opened, they mustn't have had a TV whenever this was opened. I don't know if it was 50s or 60s, whenever this place was put in. It had an old-fashioned radio built into the wall. It didn't work, but it was cool to see. Air conditioner was also very dated. It had the wood grain on it. It had sliding doors that look out on some kind of bay. There's no beach, it was just a retaining wall up to the ocean. But it was really cool. At night it got extremely windy. You could feel the windows on the building flexing. They had the metal hurricane guards, looks like a storage unit metal garage door that could be pulled down. That was kind of cool to see too. Now, I don't ever rent hotels that are over $100 unless I have to. And I mainly went there for a place to shower and to use the Wi-Fi. And guess what? I was uploading this massive file, this massive video of camping, and their internet was definitely high speed, but it's not as fast as like my fiber internet I have at home. But one video that was 2.5 hours took well, I was in the hotel room for probably 18 hours before I had to leave. 18 hours. It got 90% uploaded, and my data helped me upload the rest. The data's pretty fast out here too. Also, you would assume gas prices on the Florida Keys, because it's just basically with the bridges, it makes it an endless peninsula, and gasoline would be more expensive because they have to truck it all the way out here. Yes, in places all the way at the end, Key West, gas prices are $3.60, $3.50 something cents, around there. I avoided getting gas there. I'm going to get gas down here. In Key Largo, gas is only $2.84. That's cheaper than anywhere I've seen all of Florida, anywhere my entire drive down the East Coast from Maine. That's the cheapest I've seen in Key Largo. Why is it so cheap there? I would have assumed all of the Florida Keys would have been very expensive. Well, I guess not. Also, typically the name brand gas stations tend to be the more expensive ones, because some people just gotta have that name brand, although it's the same exact thing. It's oftentimes the same truck that delivers it to both those gas stations. So I don't know why some people assume that gas is better. It's not. But yeah, I'm on my way to a gas station now. I gotta fill up. We're pretty empty. And I'm glad. I'm gonna fill up all the way, all 55 gallons at this cheap gas station. It's the cheapest one I've seen in a long time, $2.84. Coming up. It's a marathon station. But the Florida Keys are really nice this time of year. No humidity the past couple days. But I only drove out here to kill some time, because I wanted to make sure I was extra prepared for a camping trip I'm about to do in the Everglades with kayak. So I'm going to be using the Hells Bay Trail, which is a canoe and kayak trail. There's about 2 or 3 feet of water going through a maze of mangrove trees. You won't get lost easily because there's a bunch of white PVC pipes sticking out of the water. That's your guided trail. Now it takes, I don't know how long it takes, I can't find that information, but I know to my campsite it's about 4 or 5 miles through kayak. I don't know if that 4 to 5 miles is in a straight line, or if that's the trail, because if it's in a straight line, it's going to take me a lot longer than that, because it's a maze. You can kind of see where you'd be going on the satellite map, but a bunch of parts of the trail are covered with tree canopy, So it's a mystery of what we might find in there. So that area has a whole bunch of alligators. I was told and I was also told they won't mess with the kayak. They said if a alligator swims away from you, don't do what a lot of tourists do and follow it to get pictures, because then that's when you make it angry and it'll start nudging the kayak maybe to get you to go away, or maybe even flip you. So that's something they told me. They've never had an unprovoked alligator ever mess with a kayak, they said, out there. So there's alligators there going through the mangrove trees into this bay. We're gonna go to this platform called a chickie, and it's basically a little wooden pavilion with an outhouse. You set up a tent because it's the middle of the swamp. There's not many spots you can actually camp on the ground. They do have ground camps out there called lard can, and they said they might be flooded this time of year, and it hasn't got the chance to dry out because dry season just started. We're not actually going to go into Hell's Bay. We're using the Hell's Bay Trail, but we're not going to go that far. Now the Hell's Bay Chickie is a little bit further, but because I've never done this before, I'm not sure how long it's actually going to take me. I haven't been in a kayak actually in 2 years, so we chose the Chickie that's closer just for the experience. If I like it, maybe the next time I'm in Florida we'll go on like a week-long trip, but we'd have to bring a canoe because we'd need a lot more food and water. So the part I'm going to be camping in, I'm unsure if it's fresh water. All I know is I went to the trailhead a few days ago and it was fresh water, definitely. And they told me there's alligators. There's even alligator warning signs there for you. But Hell's Bay is supposedly brackish or salt water, depending where you are in it. Where I'm camping, because we're not actually entering Hell's Bay, we're just using Hell's Bay Trail, I don't know if it's going to be brackish water or fresh water until we get there. I'm not really sure. But I was told if I actually go in Hell's Bay, we'll have crocodiles instead of alligators. So we will see what we got going on out there. Now I'm going to end the video here, everyone. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also feel pretty sticky from walking out on that windy bridge. You can just feel the salt in the air. It made my skin sticky. And also, a lot of times if you're in Florida near the water, if you camp, I don't know why I said camp, but if you park by the edge of the water, your windshield's going to be white like road salt in the morning, and you're going to have to clean that off.